Hey everyone, welcome back to the Makers Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name's Alicia. I'm a craft producer here with Makers Gonna Learn, and today I'm gonna be showing you all how to take our favorite Dollar Tree gift wrapping items and elevating them so they look super expensive and very fancy. There are a few different ways that you can take things such as greenery or real ribbon and add them to your gifts to make them look super, super nice. I'm gonna show you all of our tips and tricks. So outside of finding a very pretty, simple wrapping paper, such as this classic Christmas plaid, you can do things like adding a real ribbon to your boxes rather than the fluffy, like classic birthday bows that you all see everywhere. You can see them, you can find them in the Dollar Tree. But this velvet ribbon just makes it have a really nice touch. And then we even added a piece of cardstock layered just to give it a little bit of razzle dazzle. It's got some sparkle on it. So let's hop into Design Space and I'm gonna show you how to cut this out. Okay, so once you're in Design Space, we're just gonna go ahead and pull up a text box. You could actually personalize this to say to mom, to dad, to whoever you are gifting it to, but we're just gonna stick with Merry Christmas for now. And I'm gonna be using a retro font. Now you don't necessarily have to do a retro font. I just really like this font that we're using today. I'm gonna go ahead and ungroup to lines and kind of butt these up close together. And then I'm gonna change the font to Saturday Night. And so whenever you're cutting things out of cardstock, you wanna make sure that everything is completely connected. Otherwise, you're gonna spend a lot of time connecting pieces. Like if the C isn't connected to the M, you're gonna have it floating over here on its own. It is touching the H a little bit, but I kind of like to butt them up super close together. You can move it around, whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna add one of the glyphs. Now we have a very detailed tutorial on how to access your glyphs on your computer. If you all are interested, we will link that video down below for you. But I'm going to go ahead and change this I to one of the glyphs for this font. So I'm going to go to my font book. So you can see whenever you get in your font book, there are tons of different glyphs that you can use. You could pull an A if you wanted to. The I worked for me best, but I kind of played around in Design Space and saw which one worked best for me. So I'm just gonna scroll until I find one that I like. And I think that this one right here is super cute. I'm gonna select it, hit Command C, which is gonna copy it. And then I'm gonna hit Command V in Design Space and it's gonna plug it right there. Now you can see that the I is not touching anything, so I'm gonna scooch this over so it kind of brushes up against that M, and now everything is connected. Then we're just going to weld this together, and then I'm gonna select it again, and we're gonna add an offset. I'm gonna do a 0.25 offset, and I'm gonna change that color to red. We can change our weld result to white, and you can change this depending on what color cardstock you want to use and things like that. And then what we can do next is resize this so that it fits onto our box. So you're going to want to measure your box and make sure it's not too big for your box. I did make mine pretty oversized, but honestly, if you wanted to shrink it down a little bit, you totally could. That is totally up to you. But back in Design Space, we're gonna go ahead and just shrink this down. I'm gonna make it about 5 inches wide so you can manually change the measurements up there at the top middle. And then I am going to send this through the Cricut. We're gonna select on matte, confirm, and then you can see the white will go on this one and then the red will go on this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my cardstock on a light grip mat, and we're going to be using this really pretty red today. I love this sparkly red. And then I also have a sparkly white. Now you could just use regular white cardstock. You don't have to use glitter. It's totally up to you. Like I said before, your colors and stuff, as long as they're all coordinating, this is going to still really elevate your piece. You don't necessarily have to do the exact colors that we're showing you today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay this up here. And then we're gonna take the brayer and make sure this is on here really well. Okay. Then in Design Space, we're gonna go ahead and select Continue, and we're gonna be using a maker today. And our base material is gonna be under Glitter Cardstock. Okay. And we're going to be using a fine point blade, and then we can go ahead and load this into our Cricut. So whenever we're cutting glitter cardstock, you can see in Design Space, it's going to do a couple of passes just to make sure that everything cuts nice and well. Okay, so Merry Christmas is cut. I'm just going to gently pull this cardstock off of the mat. And then you can take one of these spatulas. And what I like to do, especially with paper crafts, is flip my mat over and then peel it off of the mat very gently. Okay. And then you can see the M wasn't connected, which is totally fine, but at least now we've only got 2 pieces rather than every single letter not being connected. So we've got that part. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the red part and then we will assemble it. Okay, so we've got both of our pieces, and what I'm gonna do is just take one of these ATG guns and I'm gonna go on the back side of these pieces and add a little bit of ATG. You could also use just like a little bit of glue if you wanted. I just really like the ATG because it pretty much adheres immediately. This is borderline too small for the ATG gun, but it works. Okay, and then I'm just going to line this up. And then we've got this super cute little Merry Christmas. And then we can add this to the top of our gift. Okay, so to achieve the final look, we're going to need to go ahead and wrap our gift. So I've got a UPS box here. I have our velvet red ribbon from the Dollar Tree, our plaid Christmas wrapping paper from the Dollar Tree, and some really good wrapping paper scissors. I keep my Christmas scissors separate from all the rest of the scissors at the house because I know that I need ones that are going to cut really well. So what we're going to do, and if you didn't know, you should always wrap your presents upside down. So we're going to put the top to the ground, and I'm just going to kind of line this up to make sure that we are covering the whole thing. And then I actually really love that this Dollar Tree paper has grid on it because you can cut along the lines, which makes it like super easy to make a straight line. Okay. And you can also use the grids on here to count to see how wide you want it to be. So on this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4.5. You just want to make sure that it's at least coming up a little over halfway on the side of your box. So I'm going to do 4.5 over here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.5 over here. So we're going to trim that. And then you can save this excess piece for other wrapping if you want to. And so what we'll do now is go ahead. I'm going to either, you can tape it or you can hot glue it. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to tape this here. And then for the part that you're actually going to see, I'm going to pull it up here. And you can see where I've cut is not that pretty. So what I'm going to do is fold it. I'm just going to fold it right along this line. Want to make sure it's as straight as we can get it, just like that. And then we're going to line it up again. And I'm gonna take some hot glue. I'm gonna go right there and then attach that. That's gonna make it look really clean. You're not gonna see any tape, but it's gonna be sealed. So I'm just gonna take this hot glue right along here. And hot glue dries fairly quickly, so we've gotta be quick. And I'm gonna pull that as tight as I can, make sure it's lined up, and then just flatten it out, okay? Now this is kind of like sitting like this. Whenever we go to put these sides down, it's gonna seal in really well, so don't worry. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna fold in our sides. So this is the bottom. I'm gonna fold these sides in, and actually I'm seeing that it's a little bit too long on the edges, so I'm gonna trim these edges up. I'm just gonna cut about 1.5 squares off. Okay, so everything is trimmed, and I'm just going to fold my edges in. So I'm just folding it in and then flattening it out on the bottom first. I'm gonna fold it in, flatten it out, do the same thing over here. So I am gonna fold my edges in just like this. And we're just going to flatten it out as best as we can. I'm gonna flatten it all the way to the top and then kind of fold these flaps. And then we're gonna do the same thing down here at the bottom, staying as crisp as we possibly can. Just like so. And then I'm going to add a piece of tape right here at the top. I don't want it to be huge. Just a small piece of tape right here. And then we're gonna hot glue this edge over top of it. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue right here. And really, I could add a little bit up here too. Okay, just like that. So you can't actually see the glue, and just make sure your edges are smooth all the way out. And then you've got your cute little box, and now we just need to add our ribbon and our Merry Christmas. So now that we have our box wrapped, we're gonna go ahead and add our ribbon, and we're gonna start from the top of our box. So I'm gonna give myself a lot of leeway. So I've got the ribbon, I'm gonna give myself like a lot of slack on this end, and it's gonna depend on the size of your box, the amount of ribbon you need. But what I'm gonna do, we're gonna start at the top here, okay? If you need to put a little piece of tape, you can. I kind of like to let it have room to wiggle. So I'm just gonna let that be like that. I'm gonna flip this over, okay? And then I'm going to, so we're wrapped all the way around the box now. We've still got our tail here. What I'm gonna do now, where these two pieces cross, I'm going to just cross them like this, and we're gonna come up the other sides of the box, okay? And then you can see we've got our tail side here, and then we've got the end of our roll over here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cut this ribbon off. And we're gonna tie this up here at the top. Now, You can do a simple bow just like this, or you can do one of the fancier bows that I'm going to show you all here in just a little bit. But what I'm going to do is just make a simple bow. I'm tying this like I would tie my shoestrings. Okay, the only difference here is that I want this red velvet side to show the entire time. I do not want this underneath side of the ribbon to show. So I'm going to make sure whenever I wrap through the middle of my bow that I'm twisting my ribbon so that when I come through the middle here, it's going to show the red velvet part. And then when you come through the back side of your bow, you're going to want to twist it again so that when you poke it through, the velvet side is actually showing. Okay. And then we're just going to tighten our bow up to our liking. And then you can fluff it out and trim your tails. Okay, and I'm just going to dovetail these ribbon ends. So what you're going to do is fold your ribbon in half long ways. So my open end is over here and my folded end is over here. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm starting on the open end. I'm going to cut up towards the closed side. Just like that. You're going to get this really pretty dovetail. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to fold this in half. Then we've got the open side over here and the closed side on the right. You're always going to be cutting up at a 45-degree angle towards the closed end. Okay, so there's our perfect little bow, and all we need to do now is add our Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this, and you can kind of play around with the placement, like if you wanted to put it right on top. I kind of like it tucked away up here. You could even put it at the bottom. Totally up to you. I'm just going to take our hot glue gun, put a little dot on the back of there, and then attach it to our box. And that's it. Next, I want to show you all how to take a very simple craft paper bag and add a beautiful bow to it as well as a little ornament. And that way you can use things that you already have, maybe even like leftover Christmas decor or anything that you can just snatch at the Dollar Tree and add it to a bag for a quick and easy elevated gift wrapping idea. So all you're gonna need is a brown craft paper bag. It doesn't have to be brown. If you wanted to do red or blue or whatever colors you're doing, you can grab those. And this is something that I like to do with my tissue paper whenever I'm putting it in my bags. I like to go ahead and have my bag open, and then I like to grab my tissue paper from the middle. So I'm just grabbing it right from the middle, and I'm gonna bring it up and kind of, it'll look like this. So it feels a little crazy and dramatic, but that's the best way to get this to look nice and fluffy without crunching it up. And then the more the merrier. I say for a bag this size, you can add 2 to 3 pieces of tissue, if not more. So we're just gonna add this. And I'm not stuffing it all the way in. I'm just stuffing it right above where the gift would be. Okay? And this is all from the Dollar Tree. So these tissue paper in the bag is Dollar Tree items. And you can see we've got our tissue in here nice and fluffy, but I think we should add some ribbon and a little gnome pick to just spice it up a little bit. So we have these super adorable little gnome picks. I want to say these are probably for decorating your Christmas tree, but I just thought they were so cute and they would look really good in a gift bag just to add a little extra something. I think kids would love these at Christmas to pull out of their bag. And then I've got this really beautiful buffalo plaid ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I cannot believe they have this there. And this is like a pretty solid roll. This is a 45-foot roll of buffalo plaid ribbon. So that's pretty good. It's $5, but that's like a really good size of ribbon. Not only that, but it's wired. So if you're gonna be doing any type of fancy bow, you're gonna want to get a wired ribbon, mainly because you can fluff it out and it's still gonna stay fluffy. It's not gonna fall flat. So what we're gonna do, if you have never made a ribbon like this, I'm gonna show you as best as I can. What I like to do is create a loop. So I'm just creating a loop right here. Okay, this is like our first loop. And lucky for us, this ribbon is double-sided, so we're not gonna have to twist it to keep the pretty side showing. We can just kind of do an easier version of this bow. And what I'm basically gonna be doing is creating loops back to back. So I'm gonna create another loop, and I'm grabbing it. I'm gonna create another loop on this side, and I'm just grabbing that one. And I'm grabbing it in the same spot. So this is my central point right here. I'm grabbing it there every single time. And then I'm just gonna give myself a little bit more ribbon to work with. You can see I'm making another loop on the other side. And then another one. You can really do as many as you want. I'm gonna do 3 loops on each side. There's my third loop. And then here is my third loop on the other side. So it's not exactly how I want it yet. I do want to add a tail. So I'm going to add a big loop at the end. So we'll have this big dangly loop. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Okay. So just like that, we've got this right here. And all I'm going to do is cut an extra piece of this ribbon off. And I'm gonna tie it through the middle of my bow. So I'm just pulling it through there. And then I'm gonna come on the other side and I'm gonna tie this in a knot. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this in half, this long tail that we have right here. I'm gonna cut this in half. I'm not gonna trim it until we get it onto our bag. That way I know how long I want it. But you can kind of fluff this out, just like this. Okay. You can see how having a wired ribbon would help here. That way your bow loops stay really fluffy and pretty. And then we're gonna take our bag. You can just lay it flat here. You can put a little dot of hot glue on the back here. And I'm just gonna pinch that together, okay? And then once it's dry, we're gonna go ahead and dovetail the ends of our bows, just like we did previously. So I'm gonna cut up at a 45-degree angle towards the folded end. Okay, and then we can go ahead and take our gnome out of the packaging. We're just going to stick that right inside the bag there. And that's it. So y'all can see this took us like a total of 5 minutes. And once you get the bows down pat, you're going to be able to throw this together really quickly. And it's going to give you a really fun and elevated gift wrapping presentation. I want to talk to you all about my favorite gift wrapping that I've done so far with the Dollar Tree ideas. I've got this beautiful glitter ornament. We have a chalk tag, all from the Dollar Tree, this beautiful sage ribbon, and the greenery. I mean, literally everything. Even the box that we wrapped is from the Dollar Tree. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to give you all my favorite tips for making your gift wrap look just like this. Okay, so this is everything you're gonna need to complete this gift wrap idea. I've got some craft wrapping paper. You may not find this in the Christmas section. You may find it closer to where the packaging is at the Dollar Tree. I had a hard time finding it at first, but we found it. And then I've got some different stems. So these are like snow-covered stems. The winter stems at the Dollar Tree this year are phenomenal. They're so good. I mean, even this boxwood greenery, like this is good stuff. I love this. So I've got that, these little cute glittery pine cones. I want to say they have these in silver and gold also, but I like to stick to the brown so it's a little bit more neutral and like boho. And then I did a sage green, which I feel like fits the boho vibe that we're going for. And then these super adorable little chalkboard tags. So they say they're chalkboard. We're gonna actually be applying HTV to these. So it's gonna look really nice, and we're gonna be using a Maker's Gonna Learn file for these. So let's go ahead and do this part. That way it's ready to go once we get our gift wrapped. Once you're in Design Space, you're gonna wanna pull in a circle from your basic shapes that's the size of your gift tag. So we are using a 3-inch circle, so I'm gonna resize it up here. We can change the color to black just so we have a better visual, and we can even zoom in just so we can see it a little bit better. And then what we're gonna do is go to the Maker's Gonna Learn website. I'm gonna go to Cut Files, and we're gonna search for a winter cut file. Like, you can use any of our newer ones, whatever you want. It just needs to fit within that little circle. So we're gonna go with this Holly Jolly Christmas. I'm just gonna download it from the website and then unzip the file. And you can see we've got a PNG and an SVG. We're gonna be using the SVG. So I'm gonna go to Upload, Upload Image, and then I'm gonna pull that SVG into Design Space. We're gonna hit Upload on the bottom right, select our image in our uploads, add to canvas, and then we're just gonna need to resize this to the size of our circle. I'm actually gonna change this to white, that way we can see what we're working with, and then we're just gonna resize it just like this. We wanna make sure it fills up the circle as much as it possibly can. So once you get it sized exactly how you want it, we're just gonna go ahead and hide our circle. And then we just wanna make sure that everything is attached here. So I'm just selecting Attach, and then we're gonna go Make It, On Mat, Confirm. And since we're using HTV, we're gonna want to mirror our image. So select Mirror over here on the left panel. I'm gonna select Continue, and we're using the Maker today. And we're gonna be cutting it on the everyday iron-on setting. No need to change the pressure, and then you can go ahead and send it through your Cricut. So I'm just gonna cut a small piece of gold, and I'm gonna put this on our mat. This is a newer light grip mat, but you're probably gonna want to use a standard grip mat for heat transfer vinyl, unless you are using a brand new mat. And you're gonna wanna put the shiny side down. So this is the front, and then the back is going to be looking at you. We're just going to burnish this down, and then we can put it into the Cricut. So while that's cutting, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my mini easy press on to the medium heat setting. I'm gonna let that warm up. That way it'll be ready to go once our vinyl is cut. These are a few other ornamental type things that I found at the Dollar Tree that I think would be super cute to add to your gift wrapping. So in this case, we're gonna be using pine cones, but you can use totally other things. Like, you can use little decorative bells. You can do these color your own ornaments and leave them as raw wood, or you could paint them to match your color scheme. And they also have lots of different shapes and sizes of these little metal key tags. So I think this would be really cute to add to your gift wrapping as well. It doesn't have to be pine cones. Just kind of think outside of the box whenever you're there, and it's gonna really make your gift wrapping look really beautiful. Okay, now that that's cut, we're just going to weed our design out. So now that it's weeded, we can pull our tag over. We can just lay this right on here, centering it as well as we can. You can see that our mini press is ready because it's green, and we're just going to iron this on. There you go. So now that our box is wrapped, I'm going to take some of this burlap ribbon. This is in the $3 to $5 section at the Dollar Tree this year. What I'm going to do is take this. This is the front, so I'm on the front of my box. And then I'm going to flip it around. And we're going to attach it in the back, just like so. So measure it out, line it up. And then you can tape this here, or you can glue it. That's totally up to you. And then while we're still on the back side, I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of this green ribbon. I'm going to line it up on the back, and then we're going to flip our box over. You might need to re-straighten out any ribbon if it got knocked sideways when we flipped it over. And then we're just going to do the same thing that we did with the red ribbon earlier. So making sure we've got plenty of room to make a bow. Go ahead and cut that. Okay. And then I'm just going to tie this in a simple bow as if I were tying my shoestrings. Just remember to keep the outside of the ribbon showing as you tuck it through. Okay, and then we can dovetail our ribbon ends. And then we just need to add this and a couple of our ornaments. So I'm just going to actually take the little piece of thread off, and I'm going to actually glue that up in there. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue right there. And then I'm going to lift my bow up just a little bit and kind of tuck it underneath. So it's just peeking right through. And then we can take some greenery and add it in. You can glue this down as well. And then you can glue your pine cones or whatever you decide to use down as well. That way they're not moving. So just kind of put them on there how you like. Get a good visual. And if you want, this box is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to actually add some more greenery. Okay, I think I am liking that. And now I'm just going to attach everything with hot glue. And this is the final product. I really love all of the greenery on this. It feels very natural and boho, and it's so, so cute and easy, and everything is from the Dollar Tree, so you really can't beat it. The last thing that I want to talk to you all about is being creative when you're choosing the containers that you're wrapping your gifts in. So I've got a couple different examples over here. This one I love so much. So this is just like a cylinder shaped box, and it has a lid on it. You can actually twist it off. It's technically sealed right now because we added just a piece of ribbon with some bronze HTV on it. It just says comfy and cozy, but you could put to so-and-so or whoever they're gifting it to. You could put little socks or candy or anything down in there. And then we just glued a little bit of greenery on top. So we didn't actually have to do any wrapping, but we really elevated this simple red box by adding this Dollar Tree velvet ribbon, a little bit of HTV, and some greenery and berries on top. Another one I want to talk about is this one right here. So we actually will be putting a tutorial out for this. We're going to do a live stream covering exactly how to do this, but I wanted to show it to you all because you're going to be able to really think outside the box whenever you go to the Dollar Tree, like, hey, I remember they used this and this to wrap their candy. So this is like a giant gift bomb, and we basically taken 2 planter plates. So it's something that you would actually sit a flower pot on so that it catches the water. We put 2 of them together. We painted them, added vinyl, added a cardstock using some of the Maker's Gonna Learn files, wrapped it in cellophane, added some bows, and it looks like a little peppermint patty. And I think this is so, so cute. And all of it, except for the cardstock, is Dollar Tree. I hope today's video was helpful for you all as we enter the holiday season. There are going to be so many things going on around us. I want you all to take a little bit of time during this holiday season and really put some thought and effort into your gift wrapping this year. It can actually be pretty therapeutic. So if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to us. We love to hear from you all. Drop a comment below if you have anything that you want to ask us as far as wrapping goes. And if you are new here, make sure you check out the Makers Gonna Learn website so that you can see all the cut files and fonts that we offer. We would love for you to be a part of our crafting community, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye. This is, I brought out some things that have the bows that we're actually going to be making today. So little history on me. I used to work for a pottery studio, and we did not only pottery, but we did signs and canvas painting classes, and I taught almost all of those while I was there. But I made all the bows. I had to learn how to make the bows. And y'all, I would have classes of like 30, 50 women at the most. And I would listen. I'd be like, listen, y'all got to make your own bows. Yeah, everybody's got to make their own bows. I can't make that many. Somehow I would get sucked into making all the bows. So I got really good and really fast at making bows. And then last year when I was pregnant, I run my own business most of the time before I worked here. But at the end of my pregnancy, I could not do that because I was in a wood shop and I was super pregnant, okay? So I started working at a florist. Well, I did all the bows at the florist. So here we are. I have been honed in as the bow professional, I guess. Yep. And I'm just gonna show you all what I know. A lot of you all probably already know how to make some of these bows, and you've probably used a bow maker. I do not use a bow maker. I use my hands, what the good Lord gifted me with. So we're gonna be using our hands today. We're not using anything fancy. The most fancy we're getting is a hot glue gun. We've got wire cutters. I've got some scissors, and then we've got our trusty Lynn Lily hot glue gun. And then I have some floral wire. This is not even a necessity for what we're making, but definitely a good little option to have if you're adding in greenery. So I'm gonna start from the easiest, and we're gonna work our way down. I've got 4 different bows to make for you all, but let's just start with the easiest one, and that is a rag ribbon. So you can see right here, let me pull it overhead so y'all can see really good. This is what I call a rag ribbon, and y'all, if there's an official name for these, tell me. Because me and Lauren were setting it up, and I was like, this is my fancy bow, this is my rag ribbon. And I don't know if that's the exact name for it, but basically you can make this little rag bow using scrap ribbon, random pieces of ribbon lying around. You don't necessarily have to use wired ribbon for these either. And so I'm gonna show you all how to make this one to start. So I've got a few different ribbons here. Let me pull them into the frame. I'm gonna move all this stuff out except for my scissors. So I've got 3 different types of ribbon here. Now, these 2 are not wired. This one is wired. Whenever you're doing the rag ribbon, because it's smaller and more dense, you don't necessarily have to have a wire on the edge because we're gonna be tying it in the middle. It's gonna allow it to like floof itself out. Floof. Is that a word?
It
I'm
is
probably
now.
going to be using the word floof a lot today.
We're going to floof it up.
We're going to floof it up. So Brenda said Alicia is the bow specialist. I'll claim it. I'll take it. So what we're going to do to start is, well, before we start cutting it, I like to use different widths of ribbon whenever I'm doing my rag ribbon. So you can see these are all different widths. So I don't know exactly, I would say this one's probably like 3.5, this one's probably 3, and this one's probably 2. So that way, whenever we stack them, you're gonna be able to see them right in front of each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this. I love this ribbon. And y'all, I've been really into like green and black for Christmas this year. I did put my Christmas stuff up and didn't do green and black, but like, low key, if I was redoing my colors, that's what I would do.
Listen, everybody in the office knows that we've had a time at my house deciding what colors to do.
It's been a journey at Lauren's house for Christmas.
It has been such a journey. But we're done. We're officially done.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is make this as wide as I'm gonna actually want it for its finished product. So I'm gonna do one that's about this wide. So I'm just gonna cut it right here. And remember, we're gonna be dovetailing these whenever we get done. So I'm just cutting this. Make sure you've got some really good sharp scissors. I don't wanna say I recommend fabric scissors because these wired ribbons, you're gonna be cutting through the wire. So don't use your best scissors, but don't use your crappy ones either. So, because we want a really good, clean cut. Does that make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. You need some like special ribbon scissors is what I would say. Now this ribbon's almost the same thickness as this deer ribbon, but it's sheer, so that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make these the same length. And I'm gonna make 2 of these. Okay. I'm actually gonna make 2 of the reindeer ribbon too. I think I'm gonna do 2 of everything. How about that?
I think that'd be good.
How about that?
Listen, the more layers, the floofier the bow.
Exactly. You want it to be as floofy as possible. And don't be scared to like try different ribbon pairings together. Get crazy. I love adding like a layer of a glittered ribbon or a layer of a plaid ribbon even. Mixing patterns and stuff looks really good in bows. A bow is a good place for you to tie your project together, I think. It's like the cherry on top, you know?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got 6 pieces here. I have 2 of my deer, 2 of my sheer, and 2 of...
2 of my deer and 2 of my sheer.
Megan said I ruined my fabric scissors cutting wired ribbon. I know, I feel you, girl. I have done it many a time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I've got both of my 2 pieces here, my 2 black pieces, and I've got my 2 green pieces. I am literally stacking these right on top of each other, okay? I like to put my biggest ribbon in the back, and what we're gonna do now is find the middle. Now, if you're real picky, you can actually fold this up and like match it on the sides. Listen, I'm an eyeballer. I am not a perfectionist. I'm so sorry. But you can like fold it in half and kind of bend it. And so you know that's where the halfway point is. And what you're gonna do is cinch this right in the middle. So we're just cinching it. Now, this is up to you. Some people like to tie a piece of like another piece of their scrap fabric, or you can take a piece of wire. Don't forget that your wire is probably gonna show a little bit if you choose to do wire through the middle to hold this together. But since this is green, I'm gonna use this. I'm just gonna cut like a small little piece off of this, just like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. And then I'm gonna cinch it right in the middle, and we're gonna put this on the front, okay? And we're just gonna bend it towards the back. So I'm bending it towards the back. It looks like this. And we're just gonna twist it in the back like a bread tie. So just twist, twist, twist. And then you can trim off the excess. Now this wire's green and my ribbon's green, so it looks good. If you did not want your wire to show, you can always, I'm gonna just squish this down as good as I can with my hands. This is thick wire. You can use.
It is. So my favorite, and I think it's because we just don't have any, like, we couldn't find the floral wire.
Yeah, the floral wire is the best
The very thin, like, malleable floral wire is my favorite.
Yeah, and you can't see it nearly as much.
No.
If you don't want this to show for some reason, you can always clip off a piece of extra fabric. And what I like to do is fold it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna fold this right side in and then fold this left side in. And I'm gonna glue this on the back of here. This is like totally extra. My hot glue gun was not on. Hold on. Hold the phone, everybody.
Hold the phone. Lindsay says, while you're pulling up, she says, I have a huge stash of ribbon and don't know how to make bows. After today, I'm gonna dive into some bow making. You better have the best, after this tutorial, I want to see like the best bows on presents.
Yes, if y'all are members and you start making bows, I need to see them.
Yeah, we need to see them on the Facebook group.
I'm going to revisit this because my hot glue gun wasn't heated up. So what I'm going to do now, while the hot glue gun is heating up, I'm going to dovetail my ribbons. I dovetail my ribbons all the time. If you're like, what the heck is a dovetail? Let me just show you. You're going to know what a dovetail is after today, and you're going to be able to do it flawlessly. So what I like to do is take an end of any of my ribbons. I'm gonna fold it in half like a hot dog. I always say that and everyone's like, a hot dog? But it is, it's like long ways, like a hot dog, okay? So you've got an open end, we've got this open end, and we have a closed end. You're gonna want to cut with your scissors, we want to cut up at a 45-degree angle towards the closed end. So my open side is over here, my closed side is over here. I want to cut up toward the closed side at a 45-degree angle, just like this. This is why you need good scissors for this part. And look, that's a dovetail. You're gonna repeat, we're gonna do it again. So I'm gonna fold this in half. You can fold it this way. I could have even folded it the other way. The important part is that you're cutting towards the closed edge. That's the most important part. And you need to be cutting it like I'm gonna say it's like a 45-degree angle, okay? Cute, cute, cute. So we're getting somewhere. It's starting to look better. And I like to cut the ribbons that are in the front a little bit shorter than the ribbons that would be behind it. That way everything shows. So I'm just gonna keep on cutting, keep on cutting. Do y'all have questions so far?
We did have, so Ty and Roland both asked or said about zip ties at the same time. Yes, zip ties work really good when it comes to doing these as well. Like if you have some zip ties laying around, especially because they make the little teeny tiny ones.
Yes.
Those zip ties will work if you have them.
Right. Also want to say, when you're dovetailing, your folded edge needs to be very flat. If it's not, whenever I cut it, let me see, I'll do one just so y'all can see. So you can see here, my corner is very crisp. It's a very crisp. If I come over here and try to do this, I'm gonna show y'all. If you fold this in half, remember we're cutting up towards the open edge, but I didn't flatten my ribbon. I'm just gonna cut it. Well, that one actually looks pretty good. But sometimes this will be rounded if you don't cut your ribbon, if you don't flatten your ribbon. So make sure you flatten it really good. I'm just gonna keep on working my way around here. Okay. Whoop.
I love how these are what did you call them? The
rag ribbon?
Rag ribbons are probably one of the easiest ribbons to do, but it gives so much dimension.
Yeah.
I love them.
And you can tile your colors in with rag ribbons. Like you can, if you're doing red, green, and pink or something, you can add all of those colors in your ribbon so your whole project gets tied together.
Really and truly, like people are asking, can you use this? Can you use that? Pipe cleaners, zip ties, bread ties, if you have extra bread ties.
Right.
You really use whatever you have handy just to secure that. If it's got some type of wire or some way of holding that together, you can even use string. Like,
right.
It's not limited to one thing that you have to use.
Exactly. So now that I have all of my pieces dovetailed, what I'm gonna do is start from the back, and I'm gonna pull this out as much as I can, okay? I'm just separating the layers. So we're floofing it out, people.
Floofing it, guys, we're floofing it.
It's happening. So look how beautiful this side is, and this side's still all together. I'm gonna floof all this out. The bigger the bow, the closer to heaven. I know it's for hair, y'all, but listen, I love a big bow, especially at Christmas. Okay. This is our rag ribbon. That's it. That's it. Hold on. We're going to glue our little piece on so we can cover our thing. So earlier I was going to cover our wire. I just cut off a piece of scrap ribbon. What I did is roll it up. Just roll it up so it's like a little thin sliver. I'm going to glue this to the back of my bow using my hot glue. Okay, just like that. Attach it here. I'm just gonna hold that on there for a second. You wanna make sure that it's cooled down a little bit. Okay, hold it in place. And then we're just gonna bring this around the front.
Bring it around
town. And then I'm gonna glue it again and trim off the excess. So I'm just gonna glue this right here. Okay, and some of y'all may find that this isn't the easier one for you. You may think the other ones are easier. This is going to be personal preference. I think this one's the easiest because you can just, I mean, once you learn how to dovetail, like.
Well, I mean, it's not that this one is, I think it's one of the easier ones, but I also love this ribbon is because you can literally, it's called a rag ribbon because you can take scrap pieces of ribbon.
Right.
And add them together, and like the possibilities are endless with this one.
Right. And so after you do that, you can re-fluff it out, and then you'll probably end up gluing it to whatever you're putting it on. You'll have to fluff it out again. Just make sure that your hot glue is completely dried. And you can also take a staple gun and like staple these back layers to whatever you're applying this to, especially if it's like a wood sign or something, and that way it does not fall off, because hot glue and a bow on a wood sign will melt off on the front door of whoever's house it's hanging at. I'm just telling y'all from experience. Okay, that's it. Any questions about rag ribbons? Anybody?
Listen, honestly, the comments for the amount of people that we have a little over 200 here.
Yay!
They've been a little, I think people are just like honed in to learn how to make these ribbons.
They're just watching.
Yes.
Okay, now the next thing, this is what I like to think of as a perfect bow. This is like the most perfect little bow you can make. You can do this with wired ribbon or non-wired ribbon. I'm actually going to be using Dollar Tree, this Dollar Tree velvet ribbon. If y'all didn't know, Dollar Tree has some beautiful velvet ribbon.
I'm telling you, their velvet ribbon is
every color. Like they had fall colors, they have Christmas colors. They also have wired ribbon at the Dollar Tree. This is the buffalo plaid in their $3 to $5 section. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. But what we're going to be doing, this is one of my favorite ones to teach, because I feel like people think that this ribbon is so hard, and I'm just cleaning off my surface. I think people think this is so hard, and when I show them, they're like, oh, that was so easy. So what you're going to need to do, we're just going to take, I don't know, 18-ish inches. I'm just guessing. It doesn't have to be 18 inches. It's going to depend on how big you want it. I'm just going to take a little chunk of my ribbon, one piece. Okay, I'm going to put the pretty side down.
This is important part.
Can y'all see what I'm doing? Down. Pretty side down. Can you see me now? Good. Okay. Y'all remember the U.S. Cellular commercials? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Good.
Good. Can you hear me now? Good.
Okay, so.
Was it U.S. Cellular or was it Verizon back in the day?
He switched. He switched.
He was a Verizon guy for years.
Yeah, and then he like went to like Sprint or something, and they still did it.
Oh, and they threw some shade. I remember when he switched.
Yeah, me too. I was like, hey. Okay, here we go. So we are doing our perfect ribbon now. I've got one strip of ribbon, pretty side down. This is the ugly side. This is the pretty velvet side. Okay, pretty side down. This is one strip. What I'm going to do is take my left side. I'm going to cross it over and kind of at an angle. Okay, I'm going to take my other side. I'm going to cross it over and kind of at an angle. Okay, looks like we've got an awareness ribbon. Gorgeous, right? If you wanted to do an awareness ribbon, there you go. But we're not. We're doing a perfect ribbon. So right here where it crosses and right up here, I'm just going to grab these together because I want to cinch this right in the middle. So I'm just going to grab this, grab that back in the middle, and then we can pinch this together. You'll get really good at knowing how to pinch this perfectly. But look, I'm going to hold it from the back. Like, that is our perfect ribbon. That's our perfect bow.
The amount of those bows that I made this weekend, I love making those bows because they're so easy.
And they're so pretty and like satisfying to look at. So this would be a good time if you had the really skinny floral wire to use. What you can also do is just take another piece of that ribbon and go ahead and cut it.
Let me see if we've got some, I think I took all of our zip ties.
Oh.
Let me go run back here and see if we've got some zip ties real quick.
You can use it. Yeah, you can use zip ties. This is totally, you're going to find something that works for you and you're going to be like, I swear by pipe cleaners or I swear by zip ties. The thin green floral wire is probably my favorite. But for this one, I think I'm going to actually use a piece of this and then I'm going to glue this dark green velvet ribbon on top of it. I think I would like to do that. So I'm just taking a piece of floral wire and I'm just going to wrap it around here. Okay, we're just wrapping it, and then I'm going to twist it in the back. So this is the back side of my bow. I'm just going to twist this wire, and then you can trim off any excess. Okay, I'm going to trim off these little tails because we don't need them. Okay. Oh my gosh, okay. And then, so you can really see that green wire on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and do what we just did on our rag ribbon. I'm gonna kind of fold this up just like this. I'm just folding it. And I'm going to put a piece of glue right here with my hot glue gun. And then we can go onto the back side of our bow and attach it there. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit before I start wrapping it.
I'm pretty sure after I got back there and started looking for them that I remembered taking them to put up their Christmas decorations.
Well, that's okay. We're using what we got. Okay, so I glued it. I'm going to wrap this around. Look how beautiful. And then I'm going to glue this on the back. And we're going to trim off the excess. Watch your fingers. You probably get burned a few times making bows, especially when you're first learning. Okay. And listen, it's not going to be beautiful on the first time. If it is, great. But I don't want y'all to expect it to be perfect the first time you start making it. Just make a bunch and you'll get used to it and you'll get really good at it. And you're going to be like, dang, I'm the master. It just takes a minute. I'm going to trim off this so you cannot see it. Ooh, you can still see it. Okay, there you go. And I'll say, if you're using velvet ribbon and hot glue, just be careful because that hot glue likes to stick to the velvet really hard. And then do not forget to dovetail your ribbons. I don't want to see this, okay? I don't want to see it.
You can dovetail it or you can do like a 45-degree angle cut.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm going to show you all how to do that instead on this one. So we could do the dovetail, which was the 2 points, or you can just do the 1 point. And we can cut from one corner and kind of cut straight up like this. Oh, okay. And we can do that over here as well. This is why you need really good scissors. These are pretty good though. These are pretty good. Okay, there you go. And then you can kind of fluff up your bow part to make it more better. All right, and that's it.
As Asher would say, much more better.
Much more. This
I
is
know it's grammatically
better.
incorrect, but I can't help it. I can't correct him. It's just so sweet when he says that's much more better.
That's much more better, you guys. Okay, that's our simple ribbon. So we've got 2 down. Are y'all ready? Like, are y'all feeling good? Are you feeling like you can make a bow?
Everybody's just so amazed at how easy you make it look, and it really is. Once you learn the concept of how to make these bows. Bow making is so easy. And like Alicia said earlier, it takes your project from here and just elevates it.
Yes, it really does.
So many projects that you can elevate with just a simple bow.
Yes, for sure. So Matt says, I've spent hours twisting it over this, pull through that, and I don't even need to.
Nope.
That's what we're saying. Okay, done. We've got 2 down. Y'all already are learning and expanding your crafty knowledge. Okay, this is the next one. Now this is, if Sadie can flip over to this camera, this is the bow we're going to be making now. So this is, I like to call this my bougie bow because it is bougie. And these are the bows that I made when I worked at the florist out of silk ribbon. I made these constantly. Y'all, I had carpal tunnel when I was pregnant. Did you have carpal tunnel when you were pregnant?
No.
My doctor said it's pregnancy-induced carpal tunnel, which I'm an artist, like a painter, and so I used to always have carpal tunnel really bad. But making these bows, whew, Lord, it'll give you carpal tunnel.
Now, these are the bows that a lot of people will use that wooden bow maker for.
Yes.
And the reason I say, because I personally have one, my mom loves it. I absolutely hate it.
I know. And it's
a love-hate relationship.
It is.
I know Megan Irk is in here, and I know she said that saved her when it came to bow making, that she loves it. Listen, more power to you.
Right.
It was not my friend.
Yeah, and a lot of people swear by the bow makers. I have never even looked at one. I've never even put my hands on one. I just have learned over the years how to make different bows. Honestly, I might like it. I've never even tried it, so I wouldn't know. But y'all can do it without that. You can just do this with ribbons you already have at your house. So what we're going to do for this ribbon, you need wired ribbon. If you go and purchase ribbon, make sure it says wired, okay? So what we're going to do, this is the $5 Dollar Tree ribbon. So cute. They also have black and white buffalo plaid. So I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this to y'all. I do not cut my ribbon until I am like in the finito, until I'm almost done. So what I'm going to do is just pull out a bunch of extra. If we can go to camera 1, y'all can see I've got a whole bunch of extra ribbon. I want to have slack here so that I can actually get this ribbon flowing nicely. So I've got a little bit of slack, and then if we'll go back overhead, I'm going to show y'all how to start this. So what I like to do Make sure you got wired ribbon. If you don't, this bow is not going to look good, I promise. So we're going to loop it. We're just going to make a loop, okay? We've got one loop. Easy, right? This is our center point. So this is our home. We're going to live here. I'm just going to look at this straight ahead. So we've got our little loop. I'm looking at it just like this. What I'm going to do is make another loop to the right of it, okay? I'm staying at my center. I'm keeping my fingers pinched at the center.
Always coming home.
Yep, always coming back home. We're going to do another loop on the left. Make sure you're kind of eyeballing to see that your loops are about the same size. This is something that you'll get better at the more that you make. I'm coming to center. You can rotate your hands back and forth. I'm ambidextrous, so I don't know if you would use the same hand over and over. Okay. Anyways, so we've created a loop over here and a loop over here. We're just going to do the same thing again. I'm going to make another loop about the same size. And look, you can see, go to camera 1. Y'all can see I'm like getting short on my slack. So it's not as easy for me to keep going. Just loosen some ribbon off of there, okay? Just loosen some so you've got some slack. I'm going to grab it again in the middle at our home point. We're going to keep on adding loops. Honestly, y'all, you can add as many as you want. I like to do 3 on each side. So I'm still holding the middle. I'm still creating these loops. We're going to fan these out, so don't worry. Grabbing it in the middle.
And you're probably going to have to untwist your ribbon too because it's going to get twisted up. So
yeah, you can just untwist it. Okay, so I've got 3 loops on each side. Now, everybody pay good close attention, okay? So what I'm going to do next, I need to have tails. So I'm just going to create a big loop and then we're going to snip it in half. So I've got this extra right here. I'm going to create a really big loop. My ribbon's twisted. I'm creating a really big loop. I'm grabbing it still in the middle. So you can see we've got this big excess right here. We've got 3 loops on each side and this was our starting loop. I'm going to go ahead and cut this ribbon away from the roll of ribbon. Okay. And then I'm not going to cut this yet. We're going to cut it in a second. What I'm going to do next is take a piece of this ribbon and tie it through the middle. So get a pretty good long piece.
While you're doing that, Jody asks, so the ribbon can't be one-sided. Yes, it can be. You just have to keep that one side up every time you create your loop.
I'm going to show you all how to do that in just a moment.
Look at there.
Yeah, I'm going to show you because you'll run into that. A lot of ribbons are not double-sided. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not as easy, but it's not that much more difficult, and I can show you all. So we've got our 3 loops, our middle loop. We've got this big old extra loop down here. I'm going to take this little scrap piece of ribbon. I'm going to put it through that main middle loop. Okay, I'm still holding it in the center. We do not want to release the center, okay? I'm going to flip this over so y'all can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot in the back. Just tie it in a knot.
So Kathy, no, the loops do not have to be exactly equal. It's actually better if they're not, I would think, because then when you fan it out, they tend to look more equal because you're moving this one up, moving another one down, correct?
Right. Well, so I like to make like them equal in terms of the width of the first one should be the same width of the second one, but then like your next one can be a little bit bigger and your next one can be a little bit bigger.
Right.
Does that make sense? So, and then what I'm going to do is go ahead and fan these out. Just don't be scared. Just pull them out, make it fluffy. Okay, so we're fluffing that out really good. And then what I'm gonna do is cut this right in the middle. So I'm gonna take my scissors, I'm gonna cut it, and then you can dovetail your ribbon. So remember, if you miss the dovetail portion, I'll do one little quick thing. So you've got your open side over here, your closed side over here. We're gonna be cutting up towards the folded side at a 45-degree angle. If I haven't said that 15 times. Y'all gonna remember it though, right?
Always a 45-degree angle when you're cutting with ribbon. Even if you're dovetailing or not, more than likely you're gonna be cutting at about a 45-degree angle.
Okay, and so there you go. So you've got these long tails. If you wanted shorter tails, you could totally do that. This is the kind of bow that you put on top of your Christmas tree if you're into that kind of thing. You can make these gigantic. You can get really thick ribbon and do this. Totally up to
one
you.
question, when you start your main portion, can you wrap it twice? That way you can separate them out as well? Mm-hmm. So really you can wrap it as many times as you want.
Mm-hmm. You sure can. Yeah, you could do like 2 loops for the center loop. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Yep, you can.
So there's a lot of different variations for this ribbon. You could make the same ribbon twice and sandwich it together so that you have one that goes all the way around.
Yes. Yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you could make 2, and that would be good for a tree too. Like if I made 2 of these, and then these can float. You can even make the tails like super long, and they can go down your tree. Mm-hmm. So lots of different options. This is like the basic cut and dry sample of how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 out of 4. Are we good?
Yay!
Are we good? Okay, so let's do the last one. I'm gonna add some foliage in with our last bow, just so you all can know how to do this. If you're making door hangers or wreaths or something like that, listen, this is self-taught, okay? I don't know if there's the correct way to do this. This is just how I do it. I'm gonna show y'all how to make this bow right here. Well, something similar to this bow. So it's like a double perfect bow, right?
That bow is probably one of my favorites.
This one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very pretty, very sparkly, and we added in foliage.
Well, it's not just like the sparkly ribbon. I just love the double, like, first of all, the perfect bow is my favorite bow. But then adding that little extra to that perfect bow makes it chef's kiss for me.
Yes, totally. Okay, so this is the extra bow. So I've got Sadie's beautiful greenery I'm about to chop up. I didn't tell her I was going to do this. This is some greenery that we had from Hobby Lobby. We used for like photo props, but I really like it. I think it's very pretty.
Listen, one of the biggest things if you have not decorated for Christmas, or you are fixing to decorate for Christmas, whatever, the little pieces that fall off of your tree, or if you have an artificial tree or a real tree, like the tiniest little branches or little pieces of foliage that fall off your tree or fall off any kind of greenery, do not throw it away.
Yeah.
Like I have a box specifically for all of the little pieces of greenery that just kind of come off, because when you're packing and unpacking and everything else, like things are going to get kind of, you're going to have pieces of your tree, like little limbs of your tree that's going to like break off. Right. Put it in a little box. Add that to your wrapping.
Yes. Oh, I love real like pine on our box.
Yes.
For wrapping. Oh, so cute. I love that. Okay. So I've got just a strip of a strip of ribbon. This is, don't let me forget before we get off this tutorial, I'm going to show y'all how to do a one-sided version of this. If your ribbon is only one-sided and not two-sided, do not let me forget. It's a little bonus bow. So right now we're going to be making this double perfect bow. I'm going to show y'all how to do a 2-layered perfect bow. And so you're just going to need a strip like this, and you're going to need your Christmas stems. So I've got some little holly berries, and then I need some greenery. I'm just going to go ahead and trim these. Give yourself a little bit of stem when you're cutting your greenery. Like if you buy it like this, don't cut it up here, cut it down here so you've got extra stem, because we're going to put it behind our bow. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my greenery out just like this. I'm kind of overlapping them, okay? I'm going to overlap my little holly berries. Can y'all see this, or am I out of frame?
You can see it. I would pull it down
A little bit, okay. So it's going to kind of look like this, okay? I'm just going to have that there ready to go. And then I like to kind of like do a little prep work for these just so they're ready. And then what I'm going to do is do another strip of this same ribbon, just a little bit shorter. So let's just do it like here. Okay, it's better for it to be a little bit too long than a little bit too short. So we've got 2 pieces, right? What I'm going to do next is make a perfect bow with my long piece. So I'm just making a perfect bow. Remember, pretty side down. So pretty side down. We're just going to hold it in the middle, cross it over, right? This is what we did earlier with our green velvet ribbon. And you'll get good at like pulling out the tails and seeing how long your tails need to be. This one, I can already tell this one isn't going to be as big as the door hanger bow I showed y'all, but it'll be the similar design. So we're going to cinch it right in the middle. We're just going to grab it right in the middle, just like this. Okay. I wish I would have made this bigger.
We'll just go ahead and cut another piece of...
Well, let's just see what it looks like. We'll just see what it looks like. So we've made our simple bow. I'm not attaching it or anything like that yet. I'm going to take this one, and listen, you'll get good at doing it with just one hand. Like, what I'm going to do is just roll this up. So I'm basically putting it pretty side down. I'm going to roll that edge in, and then I'm actually going to trim this because I can already tell it's way too long. I'm going to trim it just a little bit. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Sorry, I got a bow in one hand and scissors in the other hand. And then I'm going to pull in this end over here. So it's just folded up on both edges. And then you're going to stack it on top of this bow and cinch it in the middle. Okay? And so y'all can see how I've got 2 layers here now. But this bow's real little, so it's like harder to get the same effect. Can y'all see that? If you want it to be bigger, make sure you cut a lot of excess. But look, you can see it's the same situation.
Right.
So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take a little piece of this wire. And we've been saying this whole time, we prefer the skinnier green wire to this thick wire, but this is working for us right now.
What we got?
So I'm just going to bring it around town.
Bring it around town. Also, Sherry says that I wish I had a Dollar Tree Plus. We don't have a Dollar Tree Plus. We just have a Dollar Tree that has like a small like plus section in it.
Right, right. Okay, so I've got a little extra wire here on the back of my ribbon. I haven't cut it off. I'm going to grab my greenery. And I'm going to take it, since we already stacked it on top of each other, it's behind my bow. I'm just going to take this wire and I'm going to grab all of that greenery, okay? So I'm just going to grab it. And this would have looked better with a bigger bow, but you guys can get the concept here. So just twist it just like that. And then you've got your bow in front of your greenery. Now, don't forget to dovetail your tails.
You're going to hear the word dovetail soon.
Yes, you are. Okay, just like that. I'm actually going to 45 these instead of dovetail. I'm just going to 45 them.
Okay, here's my question. Okay. Do you normally 45 away from each other with the points touching each other, or do you 45 opposite?
I prefer them this way.
So you prefer the points to touch instead of the opposite?
Yes. And
see, I'm the opposite. I would rather my points be facing away from each other, kind of like it's similar to a dovetail, but they're separate.
Yes. And this is actually, I think these are called Fable ribbons. I know that because my daughter Ruby's bows I buy mini Fables all the time, and they're this shape, and they're my favorite ones. But you can dovetail them the other way too, or shoot, you can 45 them the other direction
too.
So
you 45 whichever direction looks best. Some people prefer 45 angles this way. Some people prefer 45 angles that way.
Right. I had to take my sweatshirt off because I am burning up. Okay, and so that would be our layered ribbon. Now, if you want to cover up this wire, just going to go back in. We're going to roll this little extra piece of ribbon up. I'm going to add some glue and glue it to the back like before. And we're going to wrap it around the front. Let me let that dry for 2 seconds. This ribbon is just pretty.
I just love that ribbon.
It's just pretty, you know.
It's party.
It's just pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this on the back and go ahead and attach that, and then I'll trim off the excess. Now, before I go, I'm going to show y'all how to do a one-sided wired ribbon bow. That way you can know how to do that.
Somebody said, how come you never seem to burn your fingers on the glue gun? Honey, we do burn our fingers on the glue gun. We just don't have feeling in the end of our fingers anymore because we burnt them so much.
That's very true. That's very true. Okay, so there's that one. This is something you could add to a door hanger, something like that. This is how I would do my bows. Not normally this small, but y'all get the gist of it, okay? Okay, let's do, this one will be a little bit harder to explain, but I'm going to do my best. So what I want to show you all is how to use a one-sided ribbon when you're wanting to make a bow like this. I do a short tutorial on this video that has not come out yet. Y'all look for the high-end gift wrapping ideas with Dollar Tree. I show you all how to keep this bow like this so all the pretty sides are showing and you don't see this ugly underneath. But today I'm just going to show you all how to do it with this type of bow. Also, if you get ugly tails like that, just tuck them up, tuck them behind. It's wire, so you can kind of form this however you want. So this bow, this ribbon right here is only one-sided. So you can see earlier I was telling you all make a loop, and I was like make another loop and make another loop, and look what's happening. Like, are y'all seeing what I'm talking about? This is not cute. We do not want any of that. We want it to look like this on both sides. So what you're going to need to do, start it like we did before. So we need to make a loop. Okay, we've got our loop right here. Remember, we're staying at the center. This one's going to require a little bit more hand work. You're going to have to really hang on to the bow this time. But what you're going to do is twist right here. We're going to twist at the base. I'm twisting it tight. I'm twisting it very tight, and I'm still hanging on to my ribbon, okay? Can y'all see? I've twisted it. And then I'm going to create a loop. And then we're going to twist it again every time. And I'm twisting it very close to the base. That way I can grab it. So my fingers are still holding that. Every single time I twist, they're still holding that ribbon. Okay? And then we're going to twist every time. You want to twist at the base so that you're not twisting the whole loop you just made. You just want to twist right here at the base and let your fingers be the cutoff. Like, you don't want to twist any further past where your fingers are. Twist it really good. We're going to make another loop. You're going to twist it again. And you guys will make these and they'll fall apart on you the first few times. Just keep practicing and you'll get it, I promise. So we're going to keep on making loops. Make sure you've got slack and twisting. Okay. These tend to be a little bit more fluffy because you're twisting and it's adding volume. Okay. And then that was our, let's see, yep, we did 3 on each side. I'm gonna go ahead and twist this one more time. My hand's like, no, it's cramping. And then I'm going to cut this off. Maybe. My scissors are done. They're like, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Done.
And then I'm just going to do, remember we had our big loop down here. I'm going to cut off an extra piece of this. Okay, and then just poke it through. And then we're going to flip it and tie this in the back. Do y'all have any questions? That's it. That's how you would do a one-sided bow. So you're just going to have to twist it at every single loop. And that's it, guys. So if we ended up doing 5 ways to do a bow.
So we had somebody ask, are some of the deer upside down compared to the center? Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, this one is, I will say, this specific ribbon would be very hard. If you are OCD and you don't want some of your deer upside down, just don't do this ribbon.
Yeah. From far away, no one's going to know.
Yeah.
No one's going to know. So, yeah, they're going to be upside down a little bit, but like you still get the pattern. You still get the Christmas vibe.
Michelle said, yep, threw the bow in the air. Me and bows don't get along. Michelle, keep trying. I promise you will get it. I promise you will get it.
And if y'all make any, I really want to see them because I would love to feel like I taught you all something Christmassy today.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be our last bow. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. All right. Okay, we're done.
Done. And today, we're here to craft. We are. So today what we're going to be making is something that is going to be very recreatable. It's going to take your gifts from here to the next level. Y'all, I really think that you're going to love these gift tags. We're going to be getting into some design space functions that we don't use a lot, that I really think you all are going to love, and you're going to love learning about them. If you don't know how to use them, hopefully we will take your skill to the next level. So this project is definitely going to be one that I'm going to see. I feel like I'm going to see a lot of recreations of this project.
Yes, I'm hoping so. And they're great to make in bulk. So like you can start now and just make a bunch of them so that when it comes time for you to wrap your Christmas presents, you just have a pile of tags that you can grab from and write the person's name on.
Right. And they just look so professional.
Yeah.
They're so, so good.
All right, people, I'm so excited to be here. Let me go ahead and show you what we're going to be making today. Let's go on the overhead so they can probably see the details. Look how cute. Alicia actually made these before she left, but I'm going to make them with you today. They are super fun and easy. We've got the Ashley Falco or Celebration Warehouse red glitter, which really gives it a pop. And then this craft cardstock is also from Celebration Warehouse. So super fun. And you can see that it's got like a couple steps, but not too many because we're going to do it all together.
I think that red Ashley Falco, that red glitter is one of my favorites of hers because it has so much dimension to it.
Yeah. It's like it's dark in some lights and brighter in others.
I know. I just love it.
So let's head over to Design Space and I'll show you the cut files that we're going to start with here today. They are all linked down below. So this is our rounded gift tag, which will be the base. And then we have these pine trees, a snowflake, and a reindeer. I think I'm just going to do one or maybe two with you today because it's all the same basic oh gosh, what do you call it? Like principle, same process to make each one. So we'll go ahead and start with the snowflake. And if you guys want to see another one, we can definitely go ahead and do that.
So my question, Courtney, if you wanted to recreate this with any theme, birthday,
of course, yes,
whatever, you can do this for any kind of time.
Yeah, different Christmas files, other holiday files, birthday files, butterflies, whatever you want. I will say that it's better for your image to be like solid instead of having like, if he had eyes and a mouth and different kind of like features on him, it wouldn't look as good.
Okay.
However, if you have like a two-part image, like say the trunk was separate from the trees here, that would be fine because the offset will help you there. So just wanted to mention that.
Perfect.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start with our tag and our snowflake. And what we're going to do is let's change the color. Let's make this maybe a blue and bring it to the front. So now we're just arranging this on the tag. And so where it is blue is actually going to be cut out. So I'm trying to envision what this might look like. And I want it to overhang a little bit on each side. So I'm thinking maybe less, like, oh, it's like bouncing for me. Okay, that looks good. So it doesn't have to be perfect at this point. We can change it too. So with just the snowflake selected, I'm gonna go up to offset. And this 0.25 makes it really big. I'm gonna scale it down, but I don't have an exact number in mind, just kind of more how I want it to look. So I'm thinking something like this would look good. And then I'm gonna click apply. So you can start to see more of what we're working with here. So then in your layers panel, you're gonna take that offset that you just made, and while I'm holding down shift, I'm gonna grab the gift tag too, and I'm gonna go down to our combine function. So these are relatively new. They used to just have weld, but now we have weld, unite, subtract, intersect, and exclude. So I want to go ahead and either weld or unite these. Unite is less permanent than weld, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do unite here for this one. And then I'm left with this black shape, which I'm going to, oh, you know what? I'm gonna undo it because I think when you unite and not weld, you can't contour. And I want to contour out this little white spot here. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna go up to combine and go to weld. So then when I click on this weld result, see now this contour option pops up. And I can go ahead and click this so that it's one solid shape and it's not gonna cut that out, which is what I want for my tag. So then this is on the front and it looks like our snowflake is gone, but you can still see the snowflake here. So, whoa, that was weird. You can go ahead and send this to the back and your snowflake is gonna pop back up. Now, I'm going to take this, I did something weird. Okay, that was strange. Send to the back, okay. Somehow I grouped the snowflake with the trees. Now I'm going to take the snowflake and my weld result, select. I need to watch comments. I wasn't watching them. Are you kind of watching too to see if there's any questions? Okay. So with both of these elements selected here, I'm going to go to combine and I'm going to go to subtract. So that cuts that blue snowflake out of that design. And then I want to go ahead and add an offset to this too. So I'm looking, that looks okay. I kind of want to increase it just a little bit more, but oh, not that much. Let's see. Let's do that. Click apply, and now I need to contour these out. So click hide all contours and it'll just leave the basic shape behind it. Now I need to change some colors here. So let's go ahead and change this offset that we made to red. Okay, that looks good. And then I just like to use the colors that I'm kind of using so I can get a glimpse of what it's gonna look like. Why is it not letting me change this color? Okay. Advance, I'm just gonna like lighten it. There you go. So that is what our finished design is gonna look like. However, if you want holes in yours, you can go ahead and add a circle. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm going to zoom in so I can see this better. Can you tell us the sizes?
I was just gonna say that before she jumps into this, we'll tell you the sizes. The best way to do it, I feel like, and Courtney can correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think it's easier to design something when it's really large and then size it down when I'm getting ready to cut.
Especially with an offset, because then you have like more wiggle room.
Yes.
And you don't have to get into like 0.00 something, which kind of irritates me sometimes. So I'm going ahead and making this. So let's go over some of the sizes. I just generally think a tag should be about 3 by 4 or so. And I might size this down actually when I go to cut it because it's gonna be like, let's see, the whole total dimensions of this red part is 5 inches. I feel like that's pretty big for a tag. I mean, if you have a really big gift, that might be fine. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and work with this circle. Design Space is being like jumpy. It's moving my stuff for me. Okay, so I have my circle here and I'm gonna go ahead and put an offset on this. But I'm trying to see, maybe, I'm kind of working on a smaller scale and so it needs like less here. But you're gonna have to go in, maybe 4, play around with it until it looks good. I think that looks good. So I'm gonna click apply there. And now it's gonna be kind of confusing, but I need to slice the larger circle out of the brown. Or I say slice because that's just what I'm used to, but I'm actually going to subtract it. So just like that. And then this smaller circle, you grab it from your layers panel is the easiest because all these layers are like on top of each other. Okay, there we go. So I subtracted that smaller circle out from the bottom red layer, and then I'm gonna send it to the back and see it's like being jumpy. Okay, anyways, this is what our final tag is gonna look like before we add our words. So I'm going to go ahead and add some text on here in our sketch font, affirmation sketch. And I'm just gonna, I probably spelled that wrong.
This is one of my favorite features for these tags is the fact that you can go ahead and have it written on there like to and from, and then mass produce them and fill them out later. Or you could say to and leave it blank, and then from the Bell family, and have a bunch of them finished. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do here.
But if you were like making it for a specific person and you don't like your handwriting, you could go ahead and write to Lauren here.
Yeah. So Deb says, I don't understand that about the whole. Can you please say what the purpose and do it again? So the purpose was we still wanted to see that red glitter on, you see how we have the offset of the red. We didn't want it to be one circle all the way through. We still wanted to be able to see a little bit of the red through that. So that's why we had the circle, did an offset, cut the offset out of the brown layer, and then the smaller circle out of the red. That way you can see that red kind of peekaboo through where the hole is.
So I'm just playing with my text a little bit. I think I'm going to increase the line space just to give me a little bit more room for that name when I'm writing it, depending on if they've got a long name or if I want to add their last name too. And then I can go up. This is a basic cut right now, so you need to change that to draw. And there is our design, but we're not done yet. We need to take the pen function and attach it to the base that you want it to write on. Otherwise, it's going to be a different place on the mat. So go ahead and select those and go to attach. Now, I'm probably going to go ahead and design some more with you just so I can kind of slow it down and do it with you again if you need a refresher. But I want to show you now how, if we hide these, what it's going to look like on our mat. So here we have our red cutout, which is for the back, and then we have our craft cardstock with the words on it. And when you make this in bulk, you can go ahead and, how many do you think will fit on here? You think 7? I'm thinking 6, but yeah, only 6 will fit. So down to 6 and apply. And you can make 6 of these on your 2 mats. So pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and unhide our elements here so we can go and make another one. They're not unhiding. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make the Christmas tree one. I need to go back and add my tag because I already used the tag that I had. All right, I'm gonna make the height here. Oh, I didn't resize this. That's why I could only make 6.
That's why you can only make 6. Okay.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I wish I could have made more than 6 on 2 sheets of paper. Yeah, so we need to resize those. Hello?
Design Space is being very, very glitchy.
Great. So I'll just select these and align center them. Oh, that's not gonna be good.
That looks good.
It really doesn't matter. You glue it on there anyway. So.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and design another one, and then we'll size them down and go ahead and make them. All right. So I like what Deb said about the hole. So I might go ahead and do that on this one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make this height 3.75 because I think that'll get the tag to be about 4 inches or so. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add a hole. That way I can also use this center function and center the hole, because I wasn't able to center the hole last time because the snowflake peeked out on one side.
Right.
Where it would have made it uneven. Okay, so I'm zooming in so I can see what I'm doing a little better. I want this hole a little bit smaller. That seems proportionate.
Lorraine is saying that she can't get undo to work on Design Space anymore, which is what you were having issues with.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do that either, so great. Who needs to take away their mistakes? All right, let's go ahead and go up to align center. That way our hole is, oh, hold on. Oh, it let me undo it. Okay, selecting those and align center horizontally. See, it was a little bit off centered. Now it won't, we don't have to worry about that. So with both of these selected, go to combine and subtract. Yay! All right, now let's go ahead and size our trees. I'm gonna make them a different color, this green color, and bring them to the front. I'm gonna put these at the bottom. So like this. I think
that'll be
good.
super cute.
Yeah. And then, actually might make it a little bit smaller. Then let's go ahead and select these and make an offset for them. That is smaller. I think that looks good. Oops, it went away. That was not a design space issue. That was me misclicking. So now with my offset and my tag function, I'm going to go ahead to the bottom and click combine, weld, or unite. I don't think I need a contour.
So you said that there's not a contour portion on unite,
right? And so for this shape, I don't need it, so I could unite it, but I'll just weld it because that's what I did last time. So then I have this, and I'm gonna send it to the back. I'll select both of these with the trees and the tag and go up to combine, subtract, so then it cuts those trees out. And then I want a little bit of an offset on this. You wouldn't have to. I think it would be cute to have just this, but I really like the glitter popping through too. Yeah. So with this, that looks good to me. I wish the hole was a little bit bigger, so I think I'll slice the hole myself, but okay. So then we'll click apply, and this looks weird because we need to contour out these trees. So click the offset and then go to contour and click. We're just gonna get rid of these three. We'll leave that hole. Then I'm gonna change the color so I can see it better. It's red. And then I'm just gonna increase the size of this hole, which the only way to do it is add a circle and subtract it from that layer. But you can use the black layer to help you center it. If you can center it in the black layer. Oh, design space might not let me.
It's like it's snapping.
It's snapping, yes. And design space used to never snap.
And I don't like that function.
Yeah, some programs do like snap to
a grid.
Yeah. I think I might be able to center it. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and combine, subtract this. It'll bring that to the front, but you can send it to the back. And then I'll change this color so that we can see our text better. But look, that is so cute. How cute. I think I like this one way better than the snowflake, honestly, but I like that. So let's see. Let's write Merry Christmas. This needs a little work. We're gonna do a kerning lesson, I guess, here.
Well, we need to spell Christmas first.
I was gonna say.
Chitmas.
Is that right now?
No, there's still an R in it. CHR.
Guys, do not come to me for spelling. I should at least know how to spell my Savior's name, though. So.
No, still not right. CHRIS.
Oh. Guys, I'm nervous about this live, okay?
It's That's okay. What it is. You're just getting back in the swing of things. Yes. It's all good.
All right. I'm going to decrease that line space and then see who's judging me in the comments.
Nobody is judging you in the comments.
Okay, this definitely needs to be manually kerned here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to bring it off the tag and then ungroup them to letters. We're going to zoom in. And we're gonna move these letters around.
Okay, so this is a very, very important lesson that I feel like everybody needs a refresher on, because kerning your fonts, I have seen some projects here recently where fonts have not been kerned, And we really need to kern script fonts.
Yeah, so see this Mary? I moved this M so it touched nicely this E, but this Y is detached from the R. This is just the way that some fonts load in Design Space. In most other programs, they like type out better originally, but for some reason, I think Design Space like wants you to use Cricut fonts only or Access fonts, but we don't need to do that because we know how to do this. So we're just moving them so that they touch and they look how you would write them if you were writing in cursive. See this I, it's like way off. That needs to go up there. The S can go here. I'm not going to be able to kern it as much as I usually can because of that snapping feature.
Is it snapping with the letters too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you move it with your keyboard?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I think it just might move too much. Yeah. It's okay. Oh. Okay. Stay with us, Design Space. Woo. See? Oh, okay. It did move it. Okay. Now I'm going to take this Mary and move it over here.
I would almost, just my personal opinion, take that C and move it down to where it connects with the H like that.
Yeah, you're right. That looks way better.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to see what it looks like to have this M not attached. What do you think?
I kind of like it not attached. Or either that or where it connects with the E. Nope, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like it not attached. I think the M looks really good not attached. But I do like it down there where it was at.
Here. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach them. I'm going to move them onto here. Merry Christmas. And then you could write the person's name under it. But you need to, with your text selected, go up and make it a pen function. And then with that pen function selected and your whatever you want it to write on, you're going to go to attach. That way it will write on that part of the tag. So now let's size this to 4 inches high and see how many of these we can put on the mat. I guess we can put this one on there too and make it 4. Okay.
Oh yeah. Look. We can fit a lot.
Yeah. Do you think 8?
At least, if not, 10.
Okay, now I'm gonna try 9. No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh.
Wait, it's not. Oh, wait, let's doing 8 of or 9 of each. Right.
Yeah.
So let me go down to 4. And see. But that's not. Oh, that's 4 of each. 5 of each is 2 mats. That could go on the other mat.
That can go. Also, something's not attached, right?
Oh, really?
Because you have a black mat.
That, I think, is the reindeer that I was going to use on a different tag.
Okay, perfect.
So we just need to take this and move it ourselves.
Yeah.
So now we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 tags.
Yep.
Which is way better. I feel better about that. So I'm going to check this mat. And you could probably squeeze a few more on there, but I think this is what we're going to do today. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. And I'm going to go ahead and prepare my mat. Move these out of the way. All right, I was just checking because I forgot that Celebration Warehouse paper is not actually exactly 12 by 12. It's like 11.75 or something. So I was just making sure that I wasn't gonna cut off any of my shapes, but I'm good to go there. So I'm gonna browse materials for glitter cardstock.
Tanya says she just got the workshop. I cannot wait to hear your review because I think it's so good. Deb said she did have a question about the sublimation course. You purchased it a while ago. Anyone who has ever purchased a sublimation course gets all of the updates and all of the new files. Yes, you're correct. Can you go over making the small hole on the tag? So what she did is she just created the hole and then excluded that circle out of the file. If you are having questions, we can't go back and go over it right now.
Because the Cricut's cutting.
Because the Cricut's cutting, but you can go back and you can, once we're done, you can go back and rewatch like multiple times.
You're just going to use a circle and place it where you want your hole to go, and then select it and the shape behind it, and then go to combine, subtract.
Also, can we talk about how well this cardstock, this glitter cardstock cuts?
And it is really, truly shed free.
Yes.
We've never had one fleck of glitter come off of this cardstock, and we use it all the time. Please tell us about the paper choice you used for the glitter and the craft paper too. Yes, Deb, they are linked in the description of the video, and we are using Celebration Warehouse, which they have a sale going on for the next 3 days.
Yes.
It's a stock up sale, and I don't know the exact discount or prices off the top of my head, but check them out now, and they ship super fast. It's a company run by our good friend Ashley Falco, and her husband does all of the shipping.
I'm pretty sure you can use code MGL for another little bit of a discount.
Like 10% or something like that. Yeah, so definitely use the code MGL and see if it stacks with that stock up sale. Last time we did it, it worked, so.
Yeah, we did.
I love all the programs that you have. Good, Beth. We love hosting programs for you all. I had a couple mishaps, cut many failed cuts in a row. I'm sure some of you have been there too. And I don't know if it was the Cricut or us. Some of it, we had, a dull blade. So that was part of it.
That was a dull blade, and then I tried a different technique for a sign that just didn't work. Ugh. Wah, wah. And then you had an issue with something being off-centered.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of both. It was a mixture of us and a mixture of the Cricut.
But we've been having fun crafting. So.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm flipping my mat over and like peeling the tags off this way one by one, because then you'll have less curling than if you try to peel the paper right off the mat. It's a great little hack. There we go. So look at all of these tags. I'm going to kind of sort them into 2 piles for which one gets the trees and which ones need snowflakes.
Do you have your Cricut pen in here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right. I do want to go ahead and peel these circles off so our next cut goes smoothly. You could get under the blade and mess it up.
Also, if you've ever wondered what to use the spatula for, this right here is one of the main reasons I use the spatula. Yeah. Is getting those extra pieces of cardstock off of my mat.
Mm-hmm. They can be annoying sometimes. All right, so we got that. I got this fresh sheet of craft cardstock.